Hey guys, I am Tieghan and I'm so excited to be here today with The Little Market, a nonprofit that makes goods to empower women. Today we're going to be making my marinated cherry tomato salad with burrata cheese. It's really fresh, really delicious, and all ingredients you can pick up at the farmer's market, which is awesome. The first thing you do is you want to marinate these tomatoes. So I have some cherry tomatoes here. They're beautiful, there's lots of colors. I'm going to simply slice them in half, toss them with a little bit of olive oil, some fresh garlic, and also some herbs. I've got some basil and some thyme here. We'll put it all together and we'll let those sit for a little bit while we toast up some garlic bread. All right, so now that I have all these beautiful cherry tomatoes sliced up in a bowl here, I am actually gonna take a clove of garlic. I'm gonna take a microplane and I'm gonna grate it right over the tomatoes. The reason I like to grate the garlic is because when you bite into these tomatoes, you won't bite into a big chunk of raw garlic. So nice little tip for you guys, and the grater works really well and it saves you a little bit of time from chopping up some garlic really finely. And then we'll add the herbs. I'm using basil and thyme, but you guys could certainly use anything that you want or anything that's in your garden. Fresh dill, oregano, those would all be really, really great in this. But I love basil and I love thyme. So this is a great dish to make ahead if you feel like you need to make ahead appetizer for any kind of event or small dinner party that you're having. You can make it a couple hours in advance, and the more time that the tomatoes have to sit, they'll marinate and they'll get more flavor, so that's awesome. And then what I do with this thyme, since it's so small, is I'll just take the leaves and I'll just kind of strip them backwards. And I kind of like to leave them larger so that they stay nice and pretty. And now that I have all my herbs and garlic in the bowl here, I am going to toss this all up kind of just like you would a salad. This is actually a basil olive oil, which is gonna add even more flavor. I'm just eyeballing it because you can't really mess it up. So a couple tablespoons of balsamic, maybe 1/4 cup of olive oil, and then we'll toss it all together. I love to use a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes for some heat. I just add a little pinch. You really want to flavor it up with that salt and pepper. Flaky sea salt's the best. If you guys have not experienced it, flaky sea salt. These little pinch bowls are from Morocco. I love to use them in the kitchen for things like salt, crushed red pepper flakes, even black pepper. They add a nice handmade touch to any kitchen. So give this a gentle toss. You don't want it to go too heavy because the tomatoes are already cut in half. Don't want them to squeeze too much, but I can already smell the basil, the garlic. It smells really, really fresh. And look how pretty it is. So I'm gonna slice these bread slices into thin slices here. Take a little bit of olive oil and just lightly drizzle the bread with olive oil. So just use the garlic clove to really rub that olive oil into the bread so you get really nice flavors. Okay, so I've got this bread all prepped. All I need to do is throw it in the oven now, and then I will be back to assemble these delicious toast and cherry tomatoes. This is a really fun dish to serve. You can serve it multiple ways. I love to serve it individually on little small plates if you wanted to, or on a nice big platter so that it looks really, really pretty. Spoon the tomatoes onto your platter right next to the bread. Make sure you're getting all of the olive oils and the balsamic so that you don't miss any of those really good flavors. I kind of like to take some of the tomatoes up the toast so that people really know what to do with the toast. It gives them the idea that the tomatoes go on the toast. And you want to make sure your burrata cheese, this is my biggest tip, make sure it's at room temperature because you really get a better flavor from the cheese that way. I like to break the burrata kind of like, not totally in half, but just so you can really see that nice cream inside. And I kind of place it around and in the tomatoes. I love the little small sprigs of basil. They just look really, really pretty if you kind of plop them around your tomatoes. Take a little bit of this olive oil and I like to drizzle it right over top of the burrata. You can take it over everything else as well. All right, so the very final thing is a little bit of flaky sea salt on top. You can't do burrata or tomatoes or toast without flaky sea salt on top. And you guys, how pretty is that? It is so perfect, so easy to make, and so pretty for entertaining. A great way to celebrate with friends, family, just yourself, some burrata and tomatoes. It's perfect.